We have a question from Jacob. Jacob. Jacob says this. Now, I tried my first heavy hands walk 1 mile with toe shoes, Vibram 5 fingers, of course, 5-pound dumbbells, and a 30-pound vest. And of course, I would just go, that's your first time? Okay, A, the mile's probably too short. Doing the finger toe shoes, that's fine. But having 5-pound dumbbells on the first time and a vest, I wouldn't mind. And this happens all the time. You take this great idea and you go right to the hardest. I'd rather have seen you go like 3 miles with just the 5s, but that's just me. I tried exaggerating arm swing, straight arms, 90 degrees at elbow, and bicep curls while taking big steps. Keep on trucking, cartoon. I also did alternating seesaw overhead presses. That is the easiest way to get your heart rate through the roof. That is a tough one. That seesaw press walk, you have to do that weird lengthen. It almost looks like you're doing a lunge down the street. Oh, and your heart rate just freaks out. Very good. That last one was a killer, escalated the heart rate, and as much burn as you like. When I was getting around 12 to 15 minutes of walk time, my shoulders were really starting to get tight. My question is, what do you think heavy hands does for shoulder health? I think burning out the shoulders a little bit in this manner might be good. I don't think that's bad. Post question, how to deal with giggling neighbors as I strut down the block looking as one does, huffing and puffing and slinging his limbs about. Well, you got to move to my neighborhood. My neighbors have no idea what to think about me, my friend. They know that they're in a very safe place because of who I bring in and who trains with me. It's pretty obvious sometimes that the groups I'm training with have seen a lot of real combat, not the nonsense you hear on the internet. Speaking of, I was just thinking the other day, it was the death of, it's the anniversary of the death of a whole bunch of my friends who died in combat. Terrible tragedy. And they trained with me. And I think to myself, well, it's something I don't want to talk about. What do heavy hands do for shoulder health? Okay, I'm going to flip one thing real quick for you. I don't know what they do for shoulder health, but here's what I found. Is that as you walk, and I'm sure Stu McGill could clear this up better. I'm sure Myers could clear this up better. He's anatomy trained. I'm sure Greg Rose could do a better job than me because he's TPI and the golf guy he with all this spinal stuff. But having those heavy hands here and then here, my back goes woom, woom. It springs as I walk. And I got to tell you, I think that's the healthiest thing I do for my spine. Now, here's my point. I want to know about this, Jacob. When my spine feels good, my hips and shoulders feel much better. When my shoulders feel better, my elbows and wrists feel better. When my hips feel better, my knees and ankles feel better. So maybe the shoulder health and of course, the other thing too is you're gently moving it through a nice range of motion, through that elastic range of motion. So maybe it is good for your shoulder health. Now, the Kauai study told us that hanging is a great thing to do with shoulders. But I have found, and I think kind of like you, Jacob, that doing the springy heavy hands helps a lot. So Jacob asked about heavy hands, which I love. The only thing I would remind people is that you do look kind of like there's something wrong with you, and just keep going, because I honestly, I don't want to look like a normal American. Have you ever been to the mall or to an amusement park? You look around, and I'm not being that. I'm not being a jerk. I'm just saying, you don't need to look like that. I mean, men wearing shirts that you might wear when you're 15, and men wearing skinny pants with holes in them, with beer bellies. I just don't get it. But the other thing, is heavy hands good for shoulder health? I'm going to say yes, because I think because it makes the spine healthier and drags everything else with it. Good question. Thanks for asking.